So when money was tight, the family decided to sell the house. The 350,000 house was sold for around 28 million pesos.
Wow. Is that the real huddle?
What do you mean huddle?
Joke lang sa Bitcoin huddle. Anyways.
Yeah. Huddle. Hold for dear life. Yeah.
Grabe. Parang na-out ka na sa crypto.
Mining sucks.
Have you seen more success stories in it also versus the ones that have not been successful also doing it?
I've seen it fail. But the failure is not because they borrowed money to buy real estate. They failed because the execution was wrong or the source of the payment was miscalculated.
When you talk to people and you said you do one-on-ones and you meet a lot of people also and you have a lot of clients and in the industry also, when do you advise them that maybe they should rent muna, hindi nila kaya pa bumili ng bahay na titirahan nila, versus how do you assess it also that they're already ready also to take the leap and buy their own house?
First is yung source of income, yung flow mo. Do you feel that your income is stable? If you get fired from this work, you can be of value to another company. Number one. If you're a businessman, that your business is kind of stable, meaning naisip mo na lahat ng possible dapa, right? You know, iisipin mo lahat yan eh. Where can I fall? What are the possible risks that will happen? And if you're a married couple, there's a power in being a married couple eh. When you're married kasi, you have now double income. If you both are working smoothly, you're really cooperating, you're supporting each other's strengths and weakness, it will be a good journey. Kasi magkasama kayo eh. And then, you know, when you are able to cover for the daily expenses of your family, then if you're renting, pwede mo isipin na, okay, let's go to a housing loan na. Kasi yung pinagbabayad naman na tayo eh. So something like that. So I think the source of income is number one, and the stability of your emotions, of your family, your relationship. Na parang okay na to. We are a team. We can hurdle through this. But Marvin, dagdag ko lang no. But in every endeavor that we make, there's risk management involved. So I used to work for a big company, Ayala Land, and even big companies, well, especially big companies, they have certain group that is risk management. So may group talaga na their job is to manage the failures. What are the worst things that can happen? So I want to encourage all our viewers na wag natin iwasan pag-usapan yung mga worst case scenario. It has to be out there para hindi ka magulat.
There's a lot of people also, I hear a lot of comments or parang I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate, and you made some interesting points na yung cash flow also, and then your emotional stability to be able to do it. Kasi they might actually say that, oh, nagbabayad naman ako ng rent eh. Kung bibili ako, kailangan ko lang ipunin yung pang down payment and then mag-amortize ako. Kasi kung hintayin ko pa na magawa ko lahat yan, it may take a longer time, and by the time that longer time happens, baka prices have appreciated and I might be paying something at a much higher price also. Is that warranted, or do you tell people na hindi ka pa ready, just wait na lang, okay lang na mas mahal mo siya bilhin later on, at least ready ka na?
So dalawa yan, either you are ready to buy it, you can afford it, then go. Because we have friends na gano'n eh, they come to me and say, Carl, takot ako talaga. And then when you analyze, hindi, kaya mo na, take the risk. Then I teach them risk management, what's the worst case scenario, how do you plan for it? So dalawa yan. One is, they can afford it but they're scared. Then you have another set of friends naman na they want na. Talagang it's a desire of the heart, di ba? They want it, but the heart is willing but the pocket is not deep enough, di ba? So you tell them na, alam mo, don't be in a hurry. Because if you rent all your life, because that's your destiny, you can still have a wonderful life. And I tell my friends that, mga coaching clients, alam mo, it looks like it's tight. You have a lot of financial obligations, konti pa lang ipon natin, and madali kang madapa. But here's my advice. Make your rental house as nice as you can. Huwag mo lagi isipin na, I'm just a temporary here, I will not make it nice. I'm just a temporary here, I will not buy cabinet or storage. I will put everything in an Orocan on the floor. Then yung living conditions mo will not be pleasant. So, to summarize, if financially you are not ready and you're renting, and you think that mukhang ito na yung faith ko, then it's okay. Be grateful for what is given to you. It's still a blessing. Then, you prepare for your son or your next generation to be the one to buy.
Got it.
Wag mo isa-sacrifice na stress ka ng present because you wanted something in the future. Kasi I believe, Marvin, na the present is still important. Diba? Although you are looking at the future, sometimes we forget enjoying the present. Well, kaya nga it's a present, diba? It's a gift, it's a blessing, it's today.
Spending the same amount of money to buy a house that you will live in versus spending that amount of money to buy it but not live in it, have it rented out, and you yourself, you don't own it, but you don't live in it, you're renting yourself. So that what's your 2023 stance?
Okay, 2023 answer, we've grown older, we survived the pandemic, we're still alive.
You didn't survive, Carly.
We thrived.
Hey, you thrived. You're part of the 1% of the Filipino population. Anyways.
Here's my take on it. Here's my big brother advice. If you can only afford to buy one property, just one, the question is it a rental or my primary home? My answer is the primary home, period. Primary home, period. Because the primary home that you live in will be your best investment. Let me share with you a story, Marvin. Ito story, real life story. This is my Lola story. So we grew up in a house in La Loma, purchased for 350,000. Anong 1976, 350,000. House and lot to, La Loma. At that time, when you live in La Loma, you are poor. Parang outskirts yun outskirts. Di mo kasi ma-afford bumili sa Escolta, bili ka lampas ng Welcome Rotonda. That's outskirts. 350,000. That's where I grew up. I lived there. I stayed. I grew up there. I created so much memories with my siblings, my uncle, my cousins. We're so many cramped in one house. And eventually, my lolo got older, and syempre money became tight. When you're tight with money, you suddenly have debt. So when money was tight, the family decided to sell the house. The 350,000 house was sold for around 28 million pesos.
Wow. Is that the real hodl?
What do you mean hodl?
Joke lang sa Bitcoin hodl. Anyways.
Yeah, hodl. Hold for dear life. Yeah.
Grabe. Parang na-out ka na sa crypto.
Mining sucks.
So parang that's a legit hodl talaga, long hodl talaga na nag-moon. Nag-moon talaga yan, no?
Property is the original hold on for dear life, diba? Even before Bitcoin. Sabi nga nila, the downside of property is it's not liquid. But it's actually a positive. Kasi you don't let go until you're really, really in need. So when we sold the house for 28 million, and now it's valued at 50 plus million, diba? So sayang if you just huddled it longer, diba? Para ang Bitcoin sold at 5,000. So yun yung nasi-share ko sa lahat na don't worry at the property that's not giving you cash flow. Especially if it's a landed property, yung may lupa. Because over time, that will be your retirement money. And I tell you, Marvin, this is proven in many, many, many ways. Almost historically proven. You can ask a tito, a tita, a lolo, a lola that has property. Lahat yan may ganong success story. Diba? May naman kasabi pa nga na the lola who's not so smart, who bought a property 70 years ago, has made more money than a smart person who traded stocks.
What's interesting about that is the value also of picking a good asset and then just letting it sit over time. I think that's another very, very good principle people could take there. Kasi you don't panic in any investment, when you start panicking, kahit stocks yan or crypto or anything else in between, and hindi ka fully convinced, you lose money. And the fact na tinirahan mo, may utility siya, may value siya also from it. And like you always say this, na real estate is something na na-enjoy mo pa, tapos if you hold on to it long enough, may appreciation na makukuha doon. So, yes.
I think the audience is curious. What is your take naman? Okay, to buy a house or to put it in, let's say, cryptocurrency or stocks?
I think depende sa depende sa stage ng buhay ko Kasi when I started out, I really bought first I really wanted to secure it also, knowing that nakita ko rin yung sa parents ko na if times get harder later on, if you have a house, at least hindi mo naisipin yung rent mo, hindi mo naisipin saan ka titira. There's something that is that gets taken off also na hindi mo naisipin later on. That's why when I was younger, I tried to secure that also first na to get something, so that if something happens later on, at least meron kang titirahan. As I got older naman, I don't know, maybe because meron na talagang titirahan, or I just learned also more, or I became more of a risk taker, or also maybe because may konting diversification as compared to when I was younger. There are also some parang computations that I've made personally na what if it's invested here, and then this investment will allow me to be able to get cash flow, and that cash flow is what I will pay for rent in perpetuity. So parang it becomes interesting also kasi having also the chance to own property, meron din mga tangibles yan na pag nasira, ikaw magpapaayos, yung maintenance yan, the larger the property, lalo na kung bahay yan, the more expensive it is. I think that's why I appreciate also condos, because there's a company that maintains it, and then in a way it gets preserved more, and it somehow holds also the value of sorts. So and then hindi mo pa isipin, and then may other costs also, that the taxes that you are actually paying also. So naisip ko na, okay, if there's cash flow that I could have to be able to pay for it, tapos may asset naman ako, and I like your story kanina na kung nagbayad ka ng rent, at the end you don't end up with any assets Pero naisip ko, what if I have an asset that even if I pay rent, I still have assets that I could also use, and I could take out also that could pay for it, na if naluma na yung tinitirahan ko, or I don't like it anymore, I don't have to worry about it. I could transfer, because the cash flow that I will use to pay off that property will also be there as well. Nagbago din siya as I maybe got older, or nagbago din yung risk tolerance ko and the way I diversified as well. So I was in both camps also at different stages of my life.
Yung maganda sinabi mo wherein you have a property but you decide to rent it out and you just move to another place, di ba? That is applicable. Let's say I have this friend na they have a property in Acacia Estates, no? The desire to rent that property is so high na their strategy is now to leave that property in Acacia Estate kasi may mag-rent, and they can rent someplace maybe farther away, but it's okay for them because they work from home, they can work remotely, and it's still equally good. So kumbaga kunyari, the rental is 100,000 and they rent somewhere na 50,000, may 50,000 cash flow sila.
Hindi lang siya limited also to rentals. It can be from REITs, or it can be from dividend stocks, or it can be from staking ng Ethereum. or you get what I'm trying to say. As long as may pumapasok, or pwedeng royalties yan from franchises that you have, and anything that's derived from an asset.
Exactly. Just don't do mining.
Mining. Masakit ba? Yun ba, would you consider that as parang something that if you could redo it, you wouldn't do it?
Of course, the crypto mining lost a lot of money and it did not fulfill the job of bringing passive income.
Pero yung hardware, di mo na nagamit? Wala na siyang use masyado?
The hardware is there. By the way, anybody who knows what to do with some Ethereum mining rigs, message me. I don't know what to do with it.
Pag TikTok live ka na lang, tapos benta mo, or yun nga. I think, yeah, it can be used also for other purposes also pa rin.
Yeah, I just don't know how to deal with it.